He's a bona fide scrub.
On today's episode, we'll recap the trade that went down this past day. Donovan Mitchell to Cleveland in exchange for a couple things. He breaks the Knicks' hearts. We'll talk about that, our favorite team. Plus, we're gearing up for football season, so we'll talk some fantasy football, plus preview the AFC before closing out the show with NNN. And welcome back to the Bona Fide Scrubs with Noah Levine. I'm Will Swankie. We're here, back at school, back after a long hiatus. Both different backgrounds for both of us. Yeah, we got to stop doing that now. Too many hiatuses for this show.
We're back. We said we were going to do it all summer. A lot of stuff got in the way with work and internships and stuff, but now we're back. We should try to strive for 2 episodes a week, preferably Tuesday and Friday. Well, this one's probably going to be up later today, Friday, or maybe early Saturday, but yeah, I'm excited to be back, excited to talk sports. We gained some subs without even doing anything. I mean, shout out you. Shout out Pick a Side for having you on, the Will Swankie Masterclass. Yes. Jimenez, your secret admirer, probably subbed to us. If you're watching this, Matthew Jimenez, please drop a like and tell your friends to subscribe too. But yeah, I mean, how was that Pick a Side experience? It was the second episode you were on?
Yeah, that was my second time being on. It's always great to talk to those guys. I mean, it's interesting being on our show and then being on their show because it's the same thing. It's just they have a better setup, a better sort of, I don't want to say better chemistry, but they've done it so many times in a row that they sort of figured out their formula and momentum for the show. So it's always fun hopping in there and being a part of that.
We got to find our momentum again because we had a lot of momentum from 2020 on, and then we went on the hiatus, another month hiatus, but now let's try to push 2 episodes a week, and we'll see what happens in 2023.
Yeah, I think 1 a week is fair to start. I don't know if we can push for 2. Tuesday, you said Tuesday. I'm so busy on Tuesday. Friday, I'm free, so I'm good to go Friday.
What other days are you free?
Wednesday is another good day for me. But all that gets derailed.
I'm literally off Wednesday, yeah.
All that gets derailed during the basketball season. I'm literally in WSOU, the studios. Like, I'm going to be busy so many days during basketball season that who knows when we'll get to do it. But yeah, I mean, in the studio, a nice soundproof room. They have a light for me here behind me, so they have a nice studio. They have mics here, which I don't know how to record into this mic into my computer.
Oh, I thought you were using one of the mics.
No, I wish I could, but
also, I mean, shout out Justin, a fan and friend of the show. He goes to school with you. Maybe we could do a 3-person episode, or maybe Justin, if you are out, we could have Justin maybe rotate in.
Yeah, I mean, we got space here. There are 3 mics, so I'll figure out how to use that. But yeah, I could put the camera over there, and then we could have a nice little 2-person setup at least.
Yeah, that'd be really fun for the future. We'll see.
All right, well, let's get to Donovan Mitchell and the trade with Cleveland. A shocking team. I don't know if anybody had the Cavs on their radar as a team. They end up sending Lauri Markkanen, Ochai Agbaji, Colin Sexton, and 5 picks, including 3 unprotected, to the Jazz in exchange for Donovan Mitchell. And the Jazz end up signing Colin Sexton to a 4-year, $75 million contract, Fournier money they give him for being a much better, more dynamic, younger player. I mean, that's frustrating in and of itself.
Yeah, I mean, Sexton, remember there was talks about him getting a max contract back in the day, last year before he got hurt again. Because remember, Cleveland was a very good team without him. I mean, Darius Garland ascended to an all-star. Sexton getting Evan Fournier money when he's like a 23 points per game scorer. And I remember before this past year, before Mitchell got hurt, or before Sexton got hurt, excuse me, he had the pretty similar stats to Donovan Mitchell, and he was not liked as much as Donovan Mitchell. He was not in that superstar category that we tend to put Donovan Mitchell in those tier of players. But Sexton pretty much had the same stats as Donovan Mitchell will if you look back at the first couple seasons of Sexton's career. And I think it's a steal for Utah, $72 million, and they get him for multiple years. Like, they're lucky he got hurt, honestly, because he would have gotten a max contract probably from Cleveland or some other team. I remember the Knicks, I was saying they should trade for Colin Sexton. I mean, if we didn't get Donovan Mitchell, I would have totally been fine with having Colin Sexton as our 2 guard.
Yeah, it's one of our most viewed videos back when you were just making clips. Collins section should be a Nick, and that has like 500 views. Yeah, I mean, it's a good deal for Utah. I mean, they get Agbaji, who's an unproven rookie, so they get to tap into his potential and see what he has. Sexton, he kind of suffered from an NFL problem. Like, he was the quarterback, and then the Cavs drafted Darius Garland to take his spot, and he became the franchise player. So he kind of got put on the back burner there in Cleveland. So I'm sure he's happy to be out of there. He gets to go to Utah and, showcase his skills. He had a nice run. I remember I had him on my fantasy basketball team like 2 years ago, and he was putting up stretches of 25-plus points per game for like many weeks in a row. So he definitely has that explosive offensive ability. We'll see if he's the guy there in Utah, if he can tap into that again and, be a Donovan Mitchell-like player. I don't think he has the ceiling of a Donovan Mitchell, but he has the skill set of a Donovan Mitchell. So we'll see what he can do. And then they get Markkanen as well, who is kind of the same thing as Sexton. They had him.
The fake Tingus.
He was a high draft pick, and for Chicago, they brought him in. And then they got Evan Mobley, and they got Jared Allen, and he's got these other big men that could, fulfill a similar role and take his place. So now he got put on the back burner. Now he goes to Utah with nobody there. So that's an interesting trio of guys that have an opportunity to take over and, lead a team that is probably going to be bad, but they have a lot of draft picks. They have a lot of potential. So Utah continues with Danny Ainge to set themselves up for Cleveland. I mean, they end up with one of the best backcourts in the NBA. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell. I mean, that's definitely a top 10 backcourt at this point for a team that was just the 7th seed in the playoffs. So, I mean, Noah, what do you think about the potential of Cleveland now with a duo that's that dynamic?
I mean, I think they're going to be a top 5 team in the East this year. I mean, it makes more sense why Cleveland pulled the trigger on this. Obviously, they gave away Markkanen. They really didn't want to pay Sexton, clearly, or else they would have did already. And Garland's better. I mean, you were right. I mean, Sexton's only 23, but it seems like players in the NBA and NFL and every league, they have such short leashes now. Well, we see this all the time with quarterbacks. Sam Darnold out after 3 years. Josh Rosen got 1 year, and Kyler Murray came right in. Yeah. And now, who knows, maybe Zach Wilson's on his way out in a year or two. We'll find out what happens with that. But everyone has short leases. Like, you draft people high in the lottery, and if they suck the first couple of years, they're going to be traded. I mean, Ntilikina, obviously not a great player, but left the Knicks. We got rid of Porzingis because he got hurt. People have such short leashes. It's really a year-to-year sport if you think about it. Like, obviously LeBron and Giannis, those franchise players, but outside of that, anyone can get traded anytime, honestly. Outside your top 10 guys, anyone can get traded.
Yeah, and even then, we see players like James Harden get traded. Kevin Durant demands a trade, and the Nets hold firm. Really, the sports are very volatile, and unless you're committed as a star to being a part of your team, you could be on the move also. And yeah, I mean, the timeline for these players is getting shorter and shorter, like you said. I think that's kind of a symptom of, in the NFL at least, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, these players came in and were great right away. That shortens the timeline for everybody else. Yeah, everybody wants a guy like that to come in and change their franchise. And some guys need a little bit more time. Josh Allen need a little bit more time. And some guys you kind of know right away, like, we got to move on from them because they're not the guy. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the NFL this year with some of these players. And in the NBA, I think the timeline's a little bit longer. I think Ntilikina got his fair shot to be a good player. And the Knicks eventually had to move on. Porzingis the same way. I mean, it was kind of an unfortunate situation for him because people were ready to crown him, the next Dirk, the next great, force in the NBA. I think people, I know it's delusional to say now, and it's crazy, but before Giannis was insane, I think people thought that Porzingis at 7'3" with his offensive skill set could become a player like that if he had the opportunity.
I thought so.
And I mean, it's clearly, just not possible. Porzingis is not as good, but I think people were ready to crown him as, the next demigod-like player in the NBA back when he was with the Knicks and, putting up a great rookie season, becoming an all-star the next year. People were ready for him to have that potential, and it just didn't pan out. So that's kind of unfortunate for him.
Yeah, so back to your original question, where do you think Cleveland will end up? So I'm going to say they're a top 5 team. Darius Garland,
top 5
Mitchell.
team or top 5 seed?
Oh, well, top 5 seed, not in the NBA, because there's good West teams. So I'll go top 5 in the East. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, I love R.J. Barrett, but I think we have to say Darius Garland's a better player. At this point in time, he was an all-star last year, averaged 21 and 8. I mean, this move makes more sense for Cleveland than the Knicks. We could talk about the offers that the Knicks offered, but it seems like the Knicks just really didn't want to give away most of their young roster, and R.J. Barrett was included in most of those packages, according to Woj. Like, this makes more sense for Cleveland because you got Mobley, you got Garland. Obviously, Garland's a little more established than RJ. He's an all-star. And they don't have a Julius Randle making $100 million. They didn't just sign a Jalen Brunson. They didn't go deep into the cap yet.
Well, they signed Jared Allen, right? What's his contract?
Like, he got the same contract as Randle, I think. But they have, like, the Cavs clearly were better than the Knicks last year. No doubt about it. The Cavs were like a play-in team. And if Sexton maybe didn't get hurt, they could be a little better than that. So I think they were further than the Knicks in the rebuilding timeline. Obviously, like, we like to say we like Toppin and Quinn and Grimes, but there's still unknowns. Like, we know Jared Allen, like, he's a known. He's not an unknown. And Garland proved himself. He's an all-star this year. Like, they had more established guys than the Knicks. So, I mean, going out and trading all those picks and Markkanen, who didn't really fit next to Mobley and Jared Allen, they already have their twin towers. I just think that this move is perfect for Cleveland, but the defense in that backcourt could get ugly real fast in a playoff series with Garland and Mitchell, both like 6'2" guards.
Yeah.
But they do have the anchors down low to help them out.
Yeah, they really are further along in the timeline. And I think if we see players like Toppin, if he averages 15 next year and if quickly becomes much more involved in the offense and, becomes a true six-man off the bench.
Yeah, they're a year away.
Contributes, then they'll be at the stage Cleveland was last year to go land at guard. It's just, there's not that many star players becoming available in the NBA, and the Knicks have struck out over and over and over and over again. And it just felt like the time to strike was now, with Donovan Mitchell loving New York, being from New York, being a Mets fan, spending his whole summer in New York, getting ready to be on the Knicks, and it just didn't happen. But I think we got to pump the brakes on blaming the Knicks and doing all that. I know people on social media love to freak out because the deals that the Jazz wanted from the Knicks were
pretty
honestly
crazy.
We're not fair and we're ridiculous. I mean, I think the Cavs offered a pretty good package with all the draft picks. Sexton's a decent player, Markkanen as well, and Agbaji is a first-round pick this year, so he kind of just is another draft pick thrown in. But none of those players are looked at the way R.J. Barrett is looked at in the NBA right now. I think people are ready for R.J. Barrett, at least this season. It's a pivotal year for him. It's an opportunity for him to be in the all-star running. He doesn't have to make the team because the East is deep with guards and forwards, and Donovan Mitchell's now thrown in there. But if he averages an all-star-like season, 23-plus points per game, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, if he puts up stats like that, it will be R.J. Barrett's time in the NBA. And you can't trade a player like that plus Quickly, plus Toppin, plus 5 picks.
Yeah, that's a lot of picks.
You just can't do it. It's not a fair trade. It's not in the Knicks' favor to do something like that. So I'm happy that did not happen, but I'm disappointed that they were about to make it happen. They offered R.J. Barrett in a trade with all those guys and with a bunch of draft picks. The Jazz declined it because the Knicks were not offering the amount of unprotected picks that they wanted. So Danny Ainge, I tweeted this out yesterday. I thought people would think it's funnier more than they did, but the Danny Ainge is running the Knicks better than the Knicks front office. He's declining that trade, saving them from giving up Toppin and Quickly and Barrett and their draft picks for just one player in Donovan Mitchell. So I'm happy that did not go through. I would have loved Donovan on the team, but if you're giving up Barrett, Noah, you can't make the trade. It's just not realistic.
Yeah, I mean, they were really trying to make the trade with Barrett, and it doesn't make sense to me because I thought the goal would be Donovan Mitchell and R.J. Barrett play together, two young stars, and you just added Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle still there for the time being. I would think you try to pair those 4 guys together to potentially be a top 5 seed in the East and maybe make a deep playoff run, but Leon Rose, he tried everything. I mean, he almost gave him Mitchell Robinson, who ended up signing an extension.
Yeah.
But it would have been definitely weird if we trade RJ to Utah. It definitely would have been sad. I mean, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Randall, I mean, none of these guys are like homegrown. It's kind of weird. We're just kind of like signing and trading for random players. The Knicks just never have great homegrown players, and RJ Barrett definitely hits home to me and most Knicks fans. So I'm glad he's still on the team. RJ Barrett's still 21 or 22, so he's definitely gonna progress better every year. But Donovan Mitchell on the Cavs, I mean, that's a great team.
Yeah, Barrett, the first Knick to re-sign his contract.
He got a max extension.
I guess Robinson too. He's a second-round pick, but Barrett, the first-round pick to get re-signed in like 30 years. So clearly he's thought of as a good player for the Knicks.
Yeah, and Cleveland really didn't give up anything they really used because Sexton got hurt and they were better without him, and they realized Garland's the guy. So it was just kind of lucky for the Cleveland kind of lucked into this situation, or else they would have had pay Sexton, but they realized they have Garland and Mobley. Those are the true guys to build around, and they're going to be a force here this year. I mean, Evan Mobley, we saw how great he was as a rookie. Well, I think you said Scotty Barnes would have the best career, and you got some hate for that.
Yeah.
I said Cade.
Actually, I didn't. I think people agreed with me more than you're giving me credit for.
Maybe, but I think I said Cade. I just went chalk. But Evan Mobley, he could be the next like really good like Anthony Davis type power forward. He could stretch the floor. We saw him play against the Knicks early on in the year. We were like, oh, the Cavs are garbage, and then they just smoked us like over and over again with Rubio and Mobley.
Yeah.
Ricky Rubio's famous 42-point game at the Garden. That's tough scene for us. And Mobley was just hitting threes, hitting jump shots, and Clyde was just so impressed that he was just doing everything as a 7-foot rookie. And you would think in year 2 he's going to be even better, and Garland's going to get better, and they were missing some scoring. They got now a free 25 points per game scorer. I mean, they're better than the Brooklyn Nets in my eyes right now. I know not people.
See, you can't say that. You're just being a Nets hater by saying that.
No, but
how?
Because the Nets never play games together. Their team.
Okay, but
are they ever going to be healthy?
On paper, they're much better.
I mean, yeah, when you have Kevin Durant, but like, is he going to actually play every game? That's
why
I question about their team.
He's been injury prone these past few years, but he's been committed to playing. You can't just pretend like he's not.
I mean,
around.
he almost just traded himself.
Yeah, I mean, I give credit to Brooklyn for staying firm and not doing it, because I hate when stars do that. I think it's a disgrace.
So
you should not be allowed to sign an extension a year ago and then extend yourself, or then demand a trade, especially when you're on a team that's good. Like the Nets
it's not
are
like they
a
were
good
shit.
team. That's our good
they were
team.
shit last year, but
yeah,
they
okay.
kind of blew up.
We know the circumstances of that, but yeah, it is insane. I give credit to Joe Tsai for that. But going back to Cleveland, I mean, they were a team nobody thought that we were going to get Donovan Mitchell. I mean,
no idea.
Nobody had any clue.
My take blew up. We're gonna have to date the freezing cold take. I'm gonna have to find that video. I'm gonna get hate now.
Yeah, I mean, I
said he would be a Knick.
We hold ourselves accountable here. We'll post that clip of you being a flop. We posted one of we predicted the finals before, during the conference finals. We predicted the finals, and
what was gonna happen? People were
mad.
Posted it.
Posted it, and people thought it was fake. They thought we just said it all in one day and posted it as a clip. I mean, that's a good idea. Maybe we should do that more. But we didn't do that. It would be stupid to do that and then claim it was a take. I don't know why people would think that.
Yeah, we literally put the date on the clip. We're gonna have to put the old date on the clip of my Knicks thing. We're gonna have to say how I flopped, because I flopped. I own it. Knicks fans, this is for you. I'm sorry we didn't get Donovan Mitchell. I thought we didn't get KD or Kyrie either. I thought that was gonna happen. I just give up. I mean, I tweeted with the SpongeBob crying gif, it's true. We're never actually gonna get a superstar. That this is the last straw, because with Donovan Mitchell, he had all the connections. It's not like Kevin Durant. It's whatever. Kevin Durant's a snake and he's weird and he chose the Nets. Donovan Mitchell is a Mets fan. He's at Mets game. I was literally at a Mets game when he was 10 rows behind me. He's there all the time. His dad works for the Mets. He's he's a New Yorker pretty much, and he demanded a trade there, and it just didn't happen. We just didn't offer the good thing. We were this close. We were so close. It was a completely different situation. It was almost the Carmelo Anthony thing where he wanted to be there, but we just didn't. We didn't go all in, and I I guess I'm a little mad in hindsight, but maybe in the future it will. Maybe something good will pan out for us.
Well, what I'm sick of is the Knicks hypocrisy, because what happens with the Knicks is they're in the conversation for landing a star, for landing Donovan Mitchell, and everybody says, well, Jalen Brunson's okay. Julius Randle just took a step back. RJ Barrett's not even an all-star. He's worse than Garland. He's worse than these players. And adding Donovan Mitchell isn't going to do anything. They're not going to win the championship. They're not going to be a top 3 seed. They're not going to matter. And then Donovan Mitchell doesn't get traded to the Knicks. He goes to Cleveland. And everybody dunks on the Knicks. Oh, the Knicks, they flop again. They can't even land a star.
It's so annoying.
They can't even do it.
Dude, does the media want us to get him or not? Like, everyone just
they
clowns
don't,
us.
They
just clown
love this
us.
conversation. They love the conversation of the Knicks are in the conversation for the star. It's the same storyline every time, and then they flop, and everybody freaks out about it. That's the storyline over and over and over again, and it's very frustrating. But if you really believe the Knicks were not going to be competitive with Donovan Mitchell, you can't be mad today that they're not getting Donovan Mitchell. It doesn't work that way. Now, according to your idea, not you, Noah, but just this hypothetical person that hates the Knicks are going to be the same thing with or without Donovan Mitchell based on your evaluation of them. So, you can't be mad today that he's going to Cleveland. You just can't. They tried everything. They offered too much according to us. So I'm fine with it. I'm happy that we did not give up Barrett and that
I really want to keep Barrett. We're gonna have to hope he actually becomes someone who's just as good as Donovan Mitchell, if not better, in the next couple of years. To literally,
he should be. I mean, literally,
why can't he be?
Next season, I don't know if he's gonna average 26.
Oh no, probably not.
He should get close to Donovan Mitchell numbers next year.
Eventually, yeah. He's gonna have the ball a lot, and he's a real point guard. We have Jalen Brunson now, and Randall. Obviously, he's kind of a ball hog, but he should defer more to Brunson and Barrett. But yeah, like with Donovan Mitchell, we thought they'd be like a top 6 seed lock. But then people like Richard Jefferson were saying they would barely make the plan even with Donovan Mitchell, and now they're probably gonna be like, oh yeah, like Donovan Mitchell actually he doesn't help you guys. Like you guys shouldn't have got him, or they're gonna clown us. They're gonna clown us. You didn't get Donovan Mitchell, but you literally just said we would have been a 10 seed with him. So like, what's the difference? Like,
there is no difference.
There is no difference.
It's just blind Knicks hate from the media. We have to kill the mainstream media by existing. That's our goal here.
I know, but like think about the Knicks roster now this year. Like, where do we actually pin them? Like we were just penciling them in to be a pretty good team because we thought they would have Donovan Mitchell net. Now, like I'm not that excited to watch this team. Honestly, I don't know if I want to watch $100 million Jalen Brunson dribble around with his left hand and then just like take some mid-range jumper. Like Toppin really has to grow this year. I need to see some real growth, have faith in this organization. Everybody loves to hype up Quentin Grimes after like 10 good games last year. We know he could shoot. We know he's a good 3-and-D guy. I remember people who we're friends with were saying they wouldn't want to trade Quentin Grimes away for Donovan Mitchell. And then I go on Twitter and see people saying, well, we can't trade away Quentin Grimes or he's going to be better than Donovan Mitchell soon. So like, I don't even know. Knicks Twitter, everyone's crazy. I like Quentin Grimes, but like I'm not gonna expect much from him unless he really does like blow up somehow. Like I don't know what to expect from this team. I'm not that excited for this roster. What are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, there's a lot of question marks for sure. They went 37-45 last year as the 11th seed. Obviously a step back from their 4 seed performance from 2 years ago. But this year it rides on. I mean, it rides on a lot. It rides on RJ Barrett getting seriously better. Which we think is more than likely
possible. Yeah.
Julius Randle not being as bad as he was last year, which really I shouldn't even say that because Julius Randle was good last year. It's just he was worse than the year before. And
I wouldn't say it was good. I think he was like what he was before that crazy season. I thought he was like average. But he definitely hurt the team a little bit with his shot selection. His 3-pointers, that was the big regression.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think he'll shoot better than that this year. But now he has another offseason off, and he has a real point guard now, and he's not going to get doubled every play because we expect Barrett to take some more of the offensive load. I do think he's going to have a good year, though.
Yeah, so basically we need Julius Randle to be what he is and not a detriment.
Yeah.
Just don't be a detriment. Then we need Brunson to be worth his money. So whatever that is, 20 points per game around.
7
right?
assists.
Be a true point guard.
Pass.
And then it comes up to all the young players. Toppin, Quickly, Grimes. All of them have to have meaningful
improve.
Years.
Yes.
This season.
And we've D Rose on the bench. Can't forget that. Mitchell.
Yeah, I mean,
Robinson,
the veterans will be the veterans. Robinson, D Rose, Fournier. They will be
good.
solid enough.
They do their job. Yeah.
Yeah.
They are not unknowns. Like the rookies.
Those are your floor players, and then
Yeah.
Toppin, Quickly, Grimes are your ceiling players. If those players seriously become better, then they'll be a good team. They'll be a playoff team if those guys are good. But if not, I mean, if those players are all bad next year, then your core is bad. Then you don't have anything for the future. So you have to worry about that happening.
That's why we should have shipped Quentin Grimes away when we could have.
Well, I mean, we'll see. If this year, if he actually becomes, a 12 to 14 points per game player, maybe there's some hope there for him going forward.
Yeah, there's no way he's going to be a superstar, obviously, but I just hope he becomes a good 3-and-D role player. That's what he was primed and known to be. I mean, coming out, and he looked really good in summer league. I mean, the Knicks made the championship. We always think we're going to win the championship summer league. We actually came close this year.
Yeah.
And Grimes was a big catalyst to that. I mean, he was scoring like 25 a night easily. So let's see it. I mean, I do you think he's going to be better than Toppin this year? If you had to pick one who's going to have a better year, Grimes or Toppin? Because the hype is real around Grimes, it seems like.
Yeah, it really is. I think Toppin has the unfortunate situation of playing behind Randall. So
yeah,
he kind of is capped based on his abilities unless he really shows out and they start eating up some of Randall's minutes. And,
I want to see them play them together. Like, I want to see Randall at the 5 or something. They need to experiment
that
more.
team defensively is so bad that you just can't do it.
That's
Tibbs
true.
will never do it. He hates bad defense.
He hates young players, too. I remember reading something from Berman, like, a couple weeks ago that Tibbs is really interested in playing Toppin a lot more. But then again, I don't know if we could trust Berman's reports as a Knicks fan.
They're not trustworthy.
He's still not even verified on Twitter. I'm not trusting a non-verified reporter.
Yeah, let's see. Grimes averaged 23 points per game in the summer league. It's only 5 games.
Yeah, small sample.
But people are ready for him to take a leap. I don't know. I don't. If this was fantasy football and we're drafting Quentin Grimes, I think somebody's going to take him like the 5th round, and that might be way too early.
That might be Thomas doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a crazy NBA week.
Speaking of football, we can transition now to talking a little bit about the AFC. We'll preview the NFC next week before the NFL season. Maybe we'll we'll wait till the first game on Thursday and then react to that, plus delve into the NFC, the conference our favorite teams reside in. So we'll have a lot to say there. But the AFC, I'll say right off the bat here, is certainly the better conference this year, the better conference for the past few years. If you look at the top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL, I think at least 7 of them, 6 or 7 of them, are in the AFC. Where in the NFC, it's only Rodgers, Brady, and maybe that's
Stafford.
It. I guess Stafford cracks the top 10 there. They're at 10. But, I mean, that's literally it for the NFC.
Yeah, Russell Wilson left, so
Russell Wilson's gone, all that. So the AFC is dominant this year. It is going to be tightly contested in a lot of the divisions. And it's going to be hard to know who the best team is because you have teams like the Chiefs, you have the Bills. People think that the Broncos can take a big leap with Wilson this year. The Ravens, the team that made it to the Super Bowl, I didn't even say, in the Bengals. So there are plenty of teams contending at the top of the AFC. Who do you think is going to be the best coming into the season and why?
In the AFC, like the best team coming in, or I think will have the best year?
I think the number one team in the power rankings right now. Let's talk about now.
That's really tough, actually. I would want to say the Chiefs, but they did lose Tyreek Hill. I'm not really going to bet against Andy Reid and Mahomes. They have a really good team. They do play in the toughest division now in the NFL. I would say either the Chiefs or the Bills. I would say the Bills probably actually are the best team coming in. Bills and then Chiefs probably my top 2 teams. Because the Bills almost dethroned the Chiefs last divisional. They did lose, but
I forgot about that game. I can't believe
that was a crazy
that game was a thing.
Yeah. Definitely the Bills are the best team.
The Bills certainly have to contend with a much worse division. They're going to be playing New England twice, the Jets twice, and depending on what you think about Miami, they should be able to. They should be able to go 6-0 against them, against those teams. Maybe the Dolphins get one, but those other teams are not very good. So they have a chance to dominate their division and get 5 or 6 free wins. The Chiefs are going to be dealing with Justin Herbert. They're dealing with Wilson. The Raiders made the playoffs last year. So they have a much tougher path just in terms of already the teams they're going to have to face built into their division. I really like the Chiefs this year. I'm Mahomes. I'm a Mahomes hype beast, a fan. I drafted him during his breakout year in fantasy, so that now I've become invested in his career going forward. I think that Tyreek Hill, I don't want to say doesn't matter, but he doesn't matter to the success
he matters.
Of Patrick Mahomes.
All right, come on. He matters a little bit.
He doesn't matter. When in the history of the NFL have we seen a wide receiver make or break a Super Bowl team? When? Give me proof, and I'll back off this take. Prove it to me right now.
Cooper Kupp. Last year.
Okay, I mean that is a great answer to that question.
That was the first one that popped in my mind. He was crazy good last year.
But
he was always open.
Argue that the presence of Stafford on that team, the quarterback, which I don't have to convince you is 200 times more important than a wide receiver.
Obviously.
He shows up to the Rams and they win immediately. So I'm canceling that. I'm proving that Stafford is the reason why they won the Super Bowl, not Cooper Kupp.
Well, Cooper Kupp did win Super Bowl MVP.
Because they made the Super Bowl with Cooper Kupp. They made the Super Bowl with Cooper Kupp. Yeah. They made it with Jared Goff.
But
they didn't win.
I mean, I think it matters a little bit. I do think going from you can't say that going from Tyreek Hill to Juju is your best receiver does come on, that makes your team a little worse. Obviously, I'm not saying the Chiefs are bad. They're going to be a playoff team. We get that. But I mean, their defense is fine. But Tyreek Hill, he was kind of the big bailout. I mean, think about it, Will. If Mahomes didn't have Tyreek in that Super Bowl, he would have lost. He bailed them out on 3rd and 18. Tyreek has always been there to bail him out.
Sure, I mean, we could play the what-if game, but
yeah,
the only reason Mahomes ever did some of the crazy things he did was because he knew Tyreek was an option. Now, if you take that away, I mean, sure, you could think that that's going to be a big factor, but Mahomes doesn't need to run around for 18 seconds and then throw it and then just get some lucky catch from Tyreek. They don't need to run plays like that anymore. They have the opportunity to, not rely on that and go sink into a more, disciplined and, I guess sharpened offense. Kelsey's still there. Juju, I think people, first of all, he's overhated because of social media. That's
he
number
sucks,
one.
So
Number two, he's had success in the NFL with Big Ben on the last legs of his career, falling apart on the field, literally falling apart. and he's been decent. Now he gets what I think is the best quarterback in the NFL as his QB to have a chance to have an unbelievable year. We debated talking about fantasy here for a second. I think Juju's a great fantasy pick. I haven't picked him yet in a league, but
I don't think I have him either.
I think having him at the value that he's going for, I mean, he could be insane this year. As a wide receiver one. He could be a top 10 wide receiver in fantasy with Patrick Mahomes. There's a chance that could happen. So I just think it doesn't matter. Tyreek Hill's great. He's going to make Tua better. But Patrick Mahomes is the reason why they could win the Super Bowl.
Wait, hold on. So are you picking the Chiefs to make the Super Bowl? Is that your pick already?
No, I'm not.
Do you think they're coming out of the
that.
Conference?
I think they are a top 3 contending team. I'll say that.
I will. When we get into divisions, I have a sneaky team that I think from the AFC that nobody's talking about that I think can win and make the Super Bowl.
Okay,
we'll get into that. We'll get into that later.
If this was an on-air show, we would go to break right now, and that'd be a good teaser.
Yeah. But all right, well, so enough with the Chiefs. So you said the Chiefs were your best team or the Bills? We both agreed with that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's start with the divisions now. So we know that the Chiefs and Bills are going to be forces this year, but the AFC is so tough. I mean, honestly, an 11-win season might be like the best team like this year. Like every team might be jumbled between like 9 and 11 or 12 wins. We might not see a true dominant team this year just because of the nature of the conference. And we've seen that a lot in the NBA. Like, remember, like all these teams, like remember the Western Conference, all these teams won 50 games and it was all jumbled up. There was no real like top team until you got to the playoffs. But enough of the NBA. We had a long Mitchell talk before. AFC East, pretty obvious. This division. People tell me it's really good, but I see 1.5 good teams. I see 1.5 good teams with my eyes, and the 1.5 good teams is the Bills, and we'll say the Dolphins are the second best team.
Yeah.
But now, will the Jets actually be better than the Patriots? Because every Jets fan I talk to says they're going to beat the Patriots, and the Patriots are finishing last. And I just can't buy that with Bill Belichick still as the coach. The Patriots are going to stomp the Jets when they play them. It does not matter who is on the Jets roster. They could have Patrick Mahomes, and the Patriots will still win against them. It's just the nature. Belichick hates the Jets. I mean, the Jets, a 6-win season, 7-win season, that's kind of a success for them compared to previous years. And everyone obviously doesn't think the Patriots are that good. I mean, Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Zach Wilson and maybe even Tua as of right now. I mean, how about that? They really might have the second best quarterback in this division, but not much else. Not a great offense, shaky defense. It's going to be them and the Jets competing for the bottom of this division.
Yeah, the race to the bottom is more competitive than the race to the top. I mean, we think the Bills are going to come out and just be the best team easily. Who's going to be the worst team? I don't know. I mean, I think that the Jets roster is better than the Patriots roster. But when you look at the history of the franchises, your points
and the coach
and everything,
and the quarterback,
it does point to the Patriots being a little bit better. Obviously, we don't know what to expect from Zach Wilson this year. If you're a Jets fan, you have no choice but to think he's going to be good. So, yeah, I mean, I think they'll split with the Patriots. They seem to every year. Both these teams are really bad.
Actually, they haven't been the Pats since, like, 2015, I read somewhere.
Really? I feel like they get
this could be their year
to splitting with them every year.
No, they always come close to winning one of the games, and then they lose. That's what happens.
Yeah. Okay, I do think the Jets... I mean, I think the Jets can win 6 games. I think that's their ceiling.
I think their ceiling's 8 games. I see Joel from Pick a Side saying they're to go 9-8. I don't agree with that, but
I don't. I think their ceiling is 6 games. Will the Patriots win 7? I mean, I feel like that's a lot for them. I don't know. I feel like these teams are so equal in terms of their win totals. I think I'll go and say that the Jets are going to win 1 more game than the Patriots. I think the Patriots will be bad enough.
I agree with that.
To be the last team. But it will be close, and it would not surprise me if the Jets were worse.
Yeah, I'm going to tell you the Jets win total right now is provided by FanDuel Sportsbook. We are not sponsored, but I would love a sponsorship.
Well, hit our line.
So the Jets are over 5.5 wins is minus 145 right now. I mean, I think that's a fair bet. I think if you really think they're going to win 6 games or more, then you obviously take the bet. But they could. I mean, Zach Wilson, he almost got hurt in preseason. So, like, what if he gets hurt again?
Well, he did get hurt in preseason.
Well, he did. I'm saying, like, long-term injury. So, like, if he misses half the regular season, let's say, they're going to be a 2-win team. They're going to be having to trot out Mike White and Joe Flacco again.
Well, hold on. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Because Zach Wilson is better than those quarterbacks, but at this point, we don't know how much better he is. So
we're going to find out.
I think their win total is locked in no matter what. I think if they're a good enough team to win 6 games, they'll win 6 games whether they have Zach Wilson or Flacco. If Zach Wilson's great, then they can move beyond that. Then they can be better. But I think their weapons, their defense, everything, it locks them into a 5 or 6 win team.
All right, well, this is crazy surprising. So guess what the Patriots win total is?
3.5.
I'm shocked by this number. No, it's 8.5.
What?
They think the Patriots are going to win 9 games this year. They think they're going to. They're basically saying they're going to be the second best team in this division. I mean, Vegas knows more than us. That's a weird number. I would definitely. I think I might have to bet the under on that. I don't think they're going to win 9 games.
I literally picked 4 games just now. So
yeah, dude, like literally to lose the bet, they have to go over 500. And we don't think they're an over 500 team.
That's a good bet. All people out there.
The Dolphins win total is 8.5, also minus 135, and I don't like that either because I think Miami is a much better team than New England and the Jets right now. With all their offseason additions, we saw them add Tyreek, obviously the big splash. They got a left tackle, Armstead, even though it doesn't really matter because Tua's a lefty. So I guess you don't really need a left tackle, but nevertheless, it's still an O-line player. They added running backs. Their defense is good. I'm really disappointed Brian Flores really never got to shine with this team again after getting fired because he really made them a fun team to watch, those last couple of years. And now it's a new rookie. It's a rookie coach. Tua's second year, maybe his make or break, or first full year, maybe a make or break year for him. Everyone has doubts of his throwing ability. I don't know. I don't think the Dolphins are a 9-8 football team. I think they're like a 7-win team. I think I could see after the Bills, I could see all 3 of these teams finishing 7-10. I think that's pretty fair. Or New England maybe 6-11, but you get the point.
Yeah, the Patriots and Jets are on a closer plane than they are Definitely. With Miami, for sure.
Yeah, I think Miami, like if they really had Brian Flores as their coach, I think they could really make a playoff push and win 10 games. Because I think he was that good, and their defense was electric that one year. But I don't think he liked Tua that much. I think that's why the front office let him go. Really unfortunate because he was on his way to becoming an elite coach.
All right, so let's move to the AFC
North.
Hold on.
So the rundown, so we both agree that it's going to be Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots, the AFC East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, keep it going. You're leading this segment.
I will. Segment. All right. AFC North. This is a harder division to pick than the AFC East because we have Baltimore. They were pretty good. They were all right last year. Lamar got hurt, but obviously they're in contention every year with Lamar and their good defense. And John Harbaugh is a fantastic coach. And the Bengals Super Bowl hangover. They made it last year. They have a very fun offense. We know for fantasy, they have a very fun, dynamic roster. Their defense showed out last year. Their defense was one of the big reasons why they were able to go into Arrowhead and shut down Mahomes and the Chiefs and keep a close game with the Rams. And we have the Browns. I mean, I would have picked the Browns to finish pretty high in this division with Deshaun Watson playing, but as we saw, he has 11 games. It's Jacoby Brissett's season. I know you're a big Jacoby Brissett guy, so before we talk about the Steelers, what do you think of your guy Jacoby Brissett leading the Browns charge now?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. I don't remember. When did this Jacoby Brissett narrative even begin? What happened with it?
I don't know. You really liked him on the Colts, and you were telling everyone that you thought he was better than Jimmy Garoppolo, which is I don't think that's true as of now.
I mean, that's actually not as bad of a take as it could have been.
And no, it could have been worse, but I just remember you were like, "Oh, I love the Colts. Jacoby Brissett's going to lead them to the playoffs."
Okay, well, one of them's a starter. One of them's a starter, and one of them's not. So how about that?
That's true. I mean, the Browns should. I'd say, you know what, Browns? I think you should trade for Jimmy G, so Will has to see Jacoby sit again.
Yeah, well, I wanted to play Tweet That, but it's taking a long time to load, so I don't think I'll get my soundboard. We need a producer with a soundboard.
Justin, maybe you could be doing that for us.
Come on, it's still not even... This is depressing. Okay, oh well. Yeah, Tweet That. Jacoby Brissett's better. Yeah, the Browns are going to be pretty miserable without Watson. I mean...
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
Is kind of just a waste for them in terms of their Watson timeline. They're gonna have to come in next year and be, ready to contend. I mean, I think with him, they're a serious contender in the AFC. Just
with them, yeah.
Missing 11 games, it's a dagger to your season. Brissett could keep them afloat. I mean, if they're I don't know 5-6 through those games, 4-7.
They have a good defensive run game, so
they have a chance to make the playoffs, I guess, in that position. But yeah, I mean, if they have 2 wins at that point, they're pretty much dead. So yeah, they're going to be an average team this year, a little below average, but their time is next year. Next year will be the time to talk about the Browns.
Yeah. Browns over under 8.5. People are heavily betting the under. The under is -160. I think that's fair. I'd take the under too, especially with Brissett. And the division's not easy either.
No, it definitely isn't. The Steelers, they're rebuilding. I mean, their timeline, they have a rookie quarterback. They have Trubisky right now as their placeholder.
Yuck.
George Pickens is the fantasy darling of this team this year, I guess, besides Najee. But their team, I mean, they have a good defense still. TJ Watt's still great. Not Micah Hyde. Minka Fitzpatrick is still a great player. They have, one of the best defenses in the NFL still, but their offense is reset. I mean, their franchise quarterback for 20 years is gone, and they're trying to fix that. So that's going to set you back. They have a chance to be competitive. They could. I wouldn't be shocked if they, win a game against Baltimore randomly or win a game against the Bengals.
They have really good history against Lamar. Like, they always make him throw 3 picks, and they know how to beat Lamar. That's the one thing I'll give them credit for.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they are competitive against their division teams. But this team is not a playoff team. They're at the bottom of this division.
Wait. I remember over the summer when we were going over the Thursday night games, I said the Steelers are on my not watch list, and I'm not going to watch a snap of this team all year. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I have nobody on their fantasy team. I don't like this team sucks.
All right, how about I don't remember the games. We went through all of them. If it's Steelers Bengals in prime time, Kenny Pickett's starting. It's his first start. Would you watch it?
I'm only going to watch when the Bengals are on offense.
Yeah, okay.
In that game.
Okay.
The Steelers win total, I don't see it. I saw it was 7.5 somewhere though, and that is fair.
Look at that tweet. What? That finally came in.
We know. Oh no, God. Steelers is 7.5. I'm taking the under because I'm not watching a snap of them. I think they're garbage. I think they're a 5-win team. Don't draft anyone on their fantasy team but Najee. That's my take.
You want drugs, Levine?
That could be wrong, but book it. The Steelers are terrible.
The top of the division, Baltimore versus the Bengals. The Bengals,
this is tough.
I don't know. I feel like they only went 10-7 last year, which is not a great record. It's not a Super Bowl team record that you would expect going into the playoffs. I feel like people really think that they can only go up from here. I mean, only winning 10 games, they have a chance to win 11, 12, 13 next year. But I don't know. I feel like that they had a magic run in the postseason. The Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. The teams experience. It's hard to get there. It's hard to get back, as we know. I feel like no team has gone back to back. I guess the Chiefs did it, but they lost. So I think the Bengals might not win the division. Is Baltimore a better team than them?
I was going to say that Baltimore, I think they're going to win the division. I agree with all the points you made, and I think Lamar's going to have a good year. I have him in Dynasty, him and Andrews. I'm big on the Ravens stack this year. I mean, the Ravens had a lot of injuries last year. That's probably the reason why they didn't win the division. They did get smoked by the Bengals twice, so we have to give them credit there, the Bengals. But I think Baltimore is going to win this division by 1 game. I don't like Lamar that much. I mean, I like him for fantasy, not as a Super Bowl contender quarterback, but I think they're going to do just enough to win this division. They have a good defense. They have their O-line back and healthy. They have a good team. I think their win total is 10.5. That's kind of high. I don't know. I would not go either side on that, honestly. I could see them winning 10 games or 11 or more. Who knows? Because Lamar is pretty magical. If you think
they're going to win the division, they got to go over that.
I mean, but the Bengals could only win 9 games.
Yeah, they could. Yeah, I mean, if you're picking the Ravens to win,
I'm going to bet the Ravens to win the division
because you love the Bengals and everything.
I'm a very good big Bengals fan, but I do think that this is Baltimore's year to win the division. The Bengals could still make the playoffs, but Bengals win total was 9.5. Yeah, as a big Bengals homer, I think they're going to just finish 9-8, and you're going to lose that bet, so I'm not touching that.
Yep, I feel the same way.
All right, so we agree. AFC North, we got the Ravens, then we got the Bengals and Browns and the Steelers. Yeah, I think we've agreed on everything so far.
Yeah.
AFC South, a dreadful division. Trevor Lawrence is an exciting part of this division. We think he could become an all-time great quarterback in the future. He has Doug Peterson, ETN. I'm a big ETN guy this year for fantasy and just real life. I think he's going to be really good this year.
Didn't you make fun of me for taking ETN in Dynasty?
No, I wanted him. You stole him from me. I think he's going to be a really good player. I think he's going to be better than Breece Hall. I don't know why Breece Hall's a top 40 fantasy player already.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know.
I think ETN's a better player than him, and I think he's going to be on a better offense. I think Doug Peterson's a smart offensive coach. And I think Trevor Lawrence is better than Zach Wilson, so why not trust that team? Even though it's very hard to say trusting in the Jaguars in the same sentence, but
yeah.
So the Jaguars, it's gonna be them and the Texans are really bad. Jaguars win total is 6.5. I remember hearing Coward say one day he thinks they go over that total, and he thinks they surprise people.
Wow.
They did have the number 1 pick, Trayvon Walker. Probably should have taken Hutchinson or someone else. That's what most people like to say. I mean, they're not going to have a good defense. I think they're just going to have a fun garbage time offense. They're going to throw a lot of checkdowns to ETN. That's why I like him for fantasy. And I'm not a fan of Christian Kirk, paying him $20 million. And these other receivers are pretty bad. So I don't know. I think the Jaguars are going to win like 4 games maybe. They'll finish in last or second to last because Houston's going to be... Houston's win total's 4.5. They're probably going to go win 3 games. That's who my Seahawks are competing against for the number 1 pick.
What about Davis Mills? What if Davis Mills is better than
he
Trevor?
Was good last year. I remember my QB evaluation. He had the second best year after Mac, actually.
Yeah, I like Davis Mills. I think he's a good player.
They have Brandon Cooks. I don't even know who they added in the draft. Do they even have
Damon
picks?
Pierce is their running back.
He could be a fantasy player of the week. Yeah, they're just good. They're going to be tanking this year. They're going to want Bryce Young or Stroud, and that's all they're going for, unless they think Davis Mills is good. And then we have the Titans. This is an interesting team. I don't really know what to make of the Titans. I'll let you go first.
Yeah, the Titans, for me, feel like their year to do everything was last year. They were the number 1 seed in the conference. Tannehill only getting older. Derrick Henry only getting older. They shuffled around their wide receivers, got rid of A.J. Brown, got rid of Julio, brought in Robert Woods and Treylon Burks, which is an interesting duo. We'll see, how they perform with Tannehill this year. Over on defense, not that many changes, so that should remain the same. But I just think they can't get better than last year. And this division is getting slowly better. I mean, the Texans, they won 4 games. The Jags won 3. I feel like those teams could at least win 2 more games this year. I think they can improve.
Yeah.
So their division's only going to get a little bit harder. So, yeah, the Titans, I mean, to me, their window is closed. Their team is getting older. Their players are not as good as they used to be. Their receiving core is completely reset. So I think this is a team that was once interesting. I feel like if you go back to old shows from last year, from back in the dark era, I guess I should say the light era of Bona, the
golden age.
Yeah, the inception age. I feel like I talked about the Titans all the time. Like, I was so excited for them.
You were kind of a fan of the Titans.
They were like
they were making their run
to beat Baltimore, to beat Kansas City, to beat those teams at the time.
That was a fun playoff run. I can't lie.
So that was a fun time, but I just think their team, their reign has ended over this division.
Yeah, they have rookie receivers. Robert Woods coming off a torn ACL. Their win total is 9.5, and there's no way that team's winning 10 games, right? I remember the Titans were also on my do not watch list, and for that reason, I think they stink now, and they're gonna be like they're gonna be a 7-win team. Tannehill, I don't like anything about their team, to be honest, at this point. I don't think Derrick Henry is gonna repeat what he's been doing. He could. I mean, he is a monster. I mean, Jesus. Maybe he will just rush for 300 yards a game in October.
Yeah, I mean, he's fueled by the cold, we know. So
yeah, he only plays the first month of September. He's garbage, and then he becomes the best running back ever after that. But Tannehill, no, I don't like this team. I don't know what to make of Traylon Burks. Smash the under 9.5 wins. There's no way this team is like a 10-win team.
Yeah, it's
even
it's
in
boring.
that crappy division. It's a boring team.
It's a been there, done that team.
Yeah,
and
I
going
think they
forward,
hit their ceiling. They hit their ceiling 2 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, what you're saying makes sense. They're not exciting to watch because all their core players are, the same. There's no intrigue with them, and they already reached their peak, and now they're just coming down from it. So they're over. Titans are canceled next year.
Yeah, put them on your do not watch list.
Yeah,
I'm not watching them or the Steelers. We have the Texans. I'll give them some credit. Davis Mills could be something. I don't have anyone on their fantasy team, but I feel like the Texans are gonna have a certain energy this year where they'll actually be somewhat like a decent crappy team, if that makes any sense.
All right, let's talk about
same
this
with the
team.
Jags.
Let's talk about the final team here. You know what? I think I'm gonna say right now. You gave a great teaser before about a team you think they can make the Super Bowl that nobody's talking about. I think this is your pick.
This is actually
right about
not.
that?
This is not my pick.
It's not. Wow. Okay, so it comes from the next division, which I feel like everybody in the AFC West people are high on. So I don't know. Maybe your teaser was Cap, but
No,
let's
it
focus
wasn't
on
Cap.
the Colts. Let's focus on the Colts for now. This is a team I'm going to be watching every week because I have Jonathan Taylor. I will be obsessed.
You are the fan club of the Jonathan Taylor.
Yes, I am the captain.
President. You're the
I've been on
president of
it
that fan club.
since his debut. I'm so happy to have him back now as the rightful king of fantasy.
You have him in Dynasty, right?
Yeah. So
I'm surprised you really took him over Jefferson. Wow.
I'll be with him his whole career, and he will never leave my team because he's the beast.
He's from New Jersey, actually. Shout out to him.
Everything about Jonathan Taylor is amazing. You need to get on the wave with me.
Oh no, I'm a fan of this Colts team. I just think I have a different team like potentially winning the Super Bowl.
The thing about this Colts team, their weapons are bad. Michael Pittman is
fine.
a breakout. He's a player everybody's taking in the 4th round. Third round. I
don't know how I feel about that. I like him, but I don't know if I like him that much.
He was great last year. Now he has Matt Ryan, who's riding into the sunset as still fantasy relevant, still relevant in the NFL.
He's definitely an upgrade over Wentz.
A capable quarterback, an upgrade over Wentz. So this team,
good line, good defense.
I'm gonna pick this team to win the division. I think their defense is the best in this division.
That's a no-brainer. They're the best team. We think the Titans
not
stink.
Vegas. Vegas has the Titans, right?
Colts have 9.5 wins, just like the Titans. It's juiced on the over, though. They think they're gonna win 10 games.
Yeah, so
I think they do win 10 games.
Yeah, I do too. Their quarterback is better. Their defense is the best. I love the Colts this year for this division.
Yeah, they are a team I will be watching, even though I don't have anyone on their fantasy team. But I think they're a good football team, and since I'm canceling like 1/3 of the NFL, I got to find teams I got to watch.
Yeah,
I have to pick certain teams I have to watch more than others.
Yeah, and if you're canceling the AFC, you're dead. Because next show we're gonna be in the doldrums talking about the NFC.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of teams I'm not watching a single snap of this year, unless I have a fantasy player on their team. That's my rule. Like I have no Steelers, no Najee. I had him last year, so no Steelers, no Titans. I would never draft a Titans player. Like I wouldn't even want Derrick Henry at the 5 spot where he usually goes. I would want Jefferson or Chase.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Well, AFC West. All right, so AFC South is done. Pretty boring division, but we'll have to. I'm not watching the Titans. I'd rather watch the Texans over the Titans. That's how South Tennessee is. Haha, because it literally is South in the U.S. But anyways.
Congrats for that.
Thank you. Okay, AFC West, the division everyone loves to talk about. And before we actually talk about any of the teams, can you guess my secret team that's gonna make that's gonna win the Super Bowl this year potentially?
I don't know. I feel like it has to be.
We have a 25% chance of getting it right.
It has to be the Chargers. It can't be the other teams because I'll tell you why before you answer. Because the Chiefs are the favorite, right? The Raiders, I don't know. I mean, they made the playoffs last year. I just feel like they can't get better, so it's not them. And the Broncos. I mean, it could be the Broncos, but I think their team's not good enough. I know you love Russell Wilson, so the Chargers are that team. I mean, they have a good defense. They have Herbert, all that. So I think your pick is the Chargers.
You are correct. I think the Chargers are going to win this division, and I think they can get to the Super Bowl this year. if everything goes to plan, as long as people don't get hurt or whatever.
All right, we'll lay out the plan. Let's go.
I'm going all in on the Chargers. I might bet them to win the AFC. They're like plus 800. I like that a lot. I like them more than the Chiefs, more than Russell Wilson-led Broncos. I think the Broncos are a year away. I don't think they're going to win this year. I like the Chargers going to the Super Bowl. Really good defense. They add Khalil Mack. Obviously not as great as a pass rusher as he once was. Elite run stuffer, and they have Joey Bosa fully healthy. They just extended Derwin James. They have Stephon Gilmore now in the second. They have a lot of good cornerbacks. They had one of the best off seasons in the NFL, Will. And Rashawn Slater, left tackle they drafted last year, all-pro as a rookie. Herbert has an O-line that can protect them, an elite O-line. Austin Eckler, fantasy and real life, great player. Keenan Allen, they have a number one receiver. Obviously, he's not as great as he once was. You were a big fan of him. They do have other good. Mike Williams, who emerged last year. He finally had a good season. We've been talking about him for years. Finally was a red zone threat and a really good fantasy player. This team has all the ingredients to make the Super Bowl. They have a good secondary, good O-line, can run the ball. And obviously Justin Herbert is a freak athlete and an excellent quarterback. He might be a top 3 quarterback when the season is done. There's a chance he can win MVP, honestly. Put Herbert to win MVP and the Chargers to make the Super Bowl. Parlay that and see what you get. But yeah, I'm really high on the Chargers. A lot of people do like the Chiefs more than them. Denver's getting some hype, obviously Buffalo, but I'm high on the Chargers this year, definitely.
It's a great pick by you. When they're not playing their own division, they play some of the worst teams in the NFL on their schedule. They play Jacksonville.
Exactly.
They play the Titans. I mean, not the Titans, the Texans. Even worse. They play the Browns. They play Seattle. The Falcons.
Yeah, it's a cakewalk.
The Dolphins, we don't know. The Titans, we don't know. But yeah, they have a pretty easy schedule. That could inflate them. They could be great in the regular season and fall apart like the Titans were last year. But they have a dynamic quarterback, and we know that can launch you, like with Joe Burrow, right to the Super Bowl right away. So I don't hate it. They will have to overcome Mahomes.
The Bills and the Bills, yeah.
They'll have to overcome playing Russell Wilson. They have teams that have been there and done that. To me, the tough part about picking the Chargers to do anything is they're just the Bills, but worse, really. I mean, you look at the outline of their team, you could say that their running back is better, which it is, but other than that, what on the Chargers is better than on the Bills? And they have to play in the best division.
The Chargers have a better pass rush. They have Bosa and Mack now.
Okay.
The Bills have never really had that great of a pass rush on defense.
That's true. So there's that.
You got to be able to get to the quarterback if you're going to be a Super Bowl team.
There's that for sure. But I don't know.
Yeah.
The Bills are definitely a chalk pick. They get to play 6
games.
I
don't want to pick the
trash,
chalk team. I'm going to go with the Chargers. The Chargers are going to be the Bengals. Just remember I said the Chargers are going to be the Bengals of this year. They're going all the way.
Yeah, but even that's not true because the Chargers are a team that people like and that went 9-8 last year.
Yeah, I know.
The Bengals were disgraced before the season.
Yeah, they won 4 games.
Yeah. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, it's fine. It's a fine pick.
Chargers win totals 10. I think they win 11 games. I think they beat that. I'm not going to bet it, though, because I think I'm just going to bet them to win the AFC at plus 800.
Yeah, the team I love in this division, I went over it before with Kansas City. I think this is the year. This is the year to love Kansas City because...
No, it's not.
People
don't love the Chargers.
Because people don't. People don't love Kansas City. And, I hate to break it to you, but Patrick Mahomes is still the best player in the NFL. He's still the best quarterback in the AFC. And he still presides over the best offense in the NFL because he can do anything with Travis Kelce on his team, with Andy Reid as his coach. It doesn't matter what the running back is. It doesn't matter what the wide receivers are. They'll be just fine as long as he's their quarterback. So I'm ready for Kansas City to be the team everybody overlooks this year and to, still retain their dominance. I think they have a shot this year. I
think they're going to finish second. The Chiefs win totals 10.5. So you obviously think they're a great team. You think they're better than I think so. All right, well, now the other two teams, the Broncos, the team that was getting a lot of hype after they got Russell Wilson. They're a fun team. Javonte Williams, I think Jerry Jeudy's going to have a breakout year. Cortland Sutton, they have Surtain in the second. They have a good defense. Their win total is 9.5. I feel like most people will think it's a toss-up between who finishes second, them or the Chargers. I think the Chargers have a better team. But with Russell Wilson, I mean, anything's possible. When he's at his best, he really is like a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. Everyone forgets. He missed some time last year for the first time in his career, but he's phenomenal, and this Broncos offense is going to be a lot better compared to what they were used to having with Drew Lock.
Yeah, and they already won 7 games last year. So they're bringing in one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL now for the foreseeable future. It's impossible to think that they won't win, at least 9 games. They were able to be competitive in this division before. And now with Wilson, it just boosts them to the next level, to a contending level. This team is already a great team. They have some injury concerns. I mean, Tim Patrick already got hurt. Jeudy and Sutton both had to deal with injuries last year. So their offense is definitely, has been banged up. And Wilson also. I mean, Wilson missed a significant amount of time last year with an injury. So they're going to have to stay healthy. Especially Wilson has the past, I should say, of being healthy for his whole career. So he shouldn't be a concern. But if this team falls apart, it's going to be because of injuries. So if they can stay together and stay healthy, they should be a pretty competitive team within an already good division.
Yeah, they're a really dynamic team. I've always been a fan of Jerry Jeudy. I feel like he's going to become the Jamar Chase of this year. Hot take. He's going to have a crazy season.
That is a hot take.
With Russell Wilson, to clip this, he's going to have like 1,300 yards if he plays every game. He's always open. He's a great route runner. He always has been since at Alabama. Just had Drew Lock throwing him the football and they're throwing him. Now you get Russell Wilson, maybe a top 3 quarterback talent. The sky's the limit for the Broncos and their offense, and their defense is obviously going to be patent. It's going to be a good team, and the Mile High is always a tough place to play, as we always like to say, rhyming accidentally. So they're a force. If it wasn't the Chargers, if the Broncos had a few more pieces, the Broncos were going to be my Super Bowl team. But instead it's the Chargers because they added a lot. And Broncos finishing third is not a bad thing. You could still make the playoffs in this tight AFC. And the Raiders, the last team, probably the least exciting team. Shout out to the AFC West because they're the only division where they actually don't have a team on my do not watch list.
Let's go.
Congrats to them. I have Devontae Adams in redraft, so I'll be paying attention to the Raiders. He's an elite wide receiver. The Raiders have an elite offense, but to me, there's not that much this team shows on defense. They barely made the playoffs last year. Now they're going to be facing a better Chargers team twice, a Broncos team without Drew Lock as their quarterback, and they always lose like 40-7 to the Chiefs. So to me, this team's going to finish dead last in this division, and they're going to miss the playoffs. I think they're going to go 8-9. I think they're a mediocre team, and they're in a really tough division. It's not their fault, but Derek Carr, they have the worst quarterback and worst team in the division. That's just what happens.
Yeah, this team is bound to regress. They had a nice year last year making the playoffs, but yeah, all your reasoning is good. It doesn't make sense to be picking the Raiders to do anything because everybody around them got better and they added Devontae Adams, but other than that, their offense
just a wide receiver.
Issue.
Yeah.
And I already talked about earlier in the show about wide receivers and their impact. So it'll be fun. Their team, you talk about a team in fantasy you want every part of. You want Darren Waller. You want
Adams,
Hunter Renfrow. You want Adams. Josh Jacobs. I do have him in Dynasty. He is what he is. He's 24 years old, so there's a chance for him to still be good in the NFL. And he is good in the NFL. It just, he's had some tough competition. They haven't put a great, scheme around him to use. But their team is a great fantasy team, a great offensive team, but obviously their defense holds them back, and the division got better, so they will be last. And it's not for lack of trying, but the rest of the competition is just too great.
Yeah, and so what do we have? 7 playoff teams total. How many are make it in the NFL? They always change this shit every year. I never know.
Seven.
So we'll go. Okay, so the AFC West, we have a little different. My AFC West is looking like Chargers, Chiefs, Broncos, Raiders.
Yeah, and I have the same except the Chiefs winning.
You have the Chiefs winning. Okay, so 7 AFC playoff teams. So I have the Bills, Baltimore, the Colts and Bengals, or Ravens and Bengals, whatever. Then the Colts. So what was that? 4 teams, and okay, then the 3 AFC West teams. There we go. That was actually easier than I thought to predict.
Yeah, I
mean
that's pretty standard. I don't think I can deviate from that at all. I think
it's just a matter of who's going to get the 1 seed. I do think Buffalo will win the 1 seed just because they're the best team playing in a weakish division. The 2 seed, that's probably going to come from the AFC West because I think going to be whatever team is the best there is going to be better than the Colts, I would assume. But Baltimore's a good team. They could really hang with anyone in this league. It wouldn't shock me if the Ravens end up getting a bye somehow too.
All right, so that's our playoffs. Let's go to NNN. I'm hyped for today's NNN. I'm ready. I think this should be, we won't title it NNN, but I think we need to get a nice clickbait title and put this out as its own thing. I'm ready for it.
NNN. Before we talk about the plethora of topics we have for today, I mean, let's talk about our summers and maybe how senior year is upon us.
Oh God.
Absolutely crazy. I was in San Diego and LA before going to school. And shit, we have 1 more year left of not paying bills and doing all that adult stuff.
Yeah, it is horrifying, to be honest. I mean, we're entering this year. 2 semesters left. I feel like college went by very quickly. I don't know if it's because the pandemic year kind of got erased from existence, and I feel like I've only been here for 3 years because I've only been here for 3 years, literally. But the things move on. It's our last year of moving on to the next step and knowing exactly what it's gonna be. We move on from freshman year to sophomore year to junior year to senior year, and after senior year, the next step is everybody's is different. Everything changes after that moment. So, we'll see what happens. But it is a scary time.
I remember
scary hours here.
Yeah, I remember we were all panicking at the end of high school, like, oh shit, we got to pick a college. Like, where we
go to college?
Yeah, but
that's way easier.
No, I know. Obviously, I'm not saying it's easier, but like now we're on that timeline, we're panicking. But now it's a job. Like it's more real than just picking a school. Hopefully we figure it out. We figured out what college we're gonna go to. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens in the future. The summer was pretty good. It's always freaking hot in New Jersey in the summer. I know you live in New York now. You left our great state of New Jersey.
New York.
You left the great state. Going down the shore was cool. LA was definitely a fun city. I definitely think it was over liberalized by the media.
So you think do you think it's not as bad as people say?
It's not as bad as people say. At least where I was going.
That's
I went down. So obviously I stayed in Culver City. It was just like 15 minutes from downtown of LA, 20 minutes. But I remember going down Hollywood Boulevard, and that's like the famous street there. That's like the Times Square of LA, basically.
Yeah, the Walk of Fame is there, right?
Yeah, and the famous theater where they premiered the first Star Wars, they premiered all the famous movies there. It was cool. I mean, I think the homeless people, maybe at least in the areas I was in, was a little exaggerated. It felt like I was in New York City, but on the West Coast, honestly.
Okay, I mean that's.
And I do like the LA architecture more. It's definitely nice seeing palm trees.
All right, that's cap.
How's that
the LA architecture more than New York? New York?
What? It's just skyscrapers in New York.
Yeah, but there's all the old buildings, the brownstone apartments, like the Empire State. There's so much more character in New York.
Okay, I mean that's true.
A modern city of Los Angeles.
No, I know, but LA is pretty modern. I like how there's palm trees there. That's not really. I guess that's part of architecture, not really. But it's nice being out there. I drove around UCLA campus. That is a monster campus. I don't know how anyone would be able to get to class walking. Saw the pavilion where they play basketball. LA was really cool. the homeless people wasn't crazy. I'm sure there's areas where they're worse. Same with New York, but I mean the Bronx is a shit show.
Escape from the Bronx.
Escape from the Bronx, but I liked LA. But guess the highest. Guess the lowest and highest gas price I saw while I was in California.
Let's see, the highest. I think you sent me the high, which was like $6.80 or something.
I saw one higher than that, actually.
Really?
I didn't send. I was saving it for the show. I want you to guess.
$7?
It's higher than $7.
$7.50.
No, lower. You're right in the 7 range though.
Like $7.25.
It was $7.30.
Yeah,
I saw it at a Shell gas station. The lowest I think was $5.30. Yeah, they really don't like pumping gas there. Like they want to conserve the environment. Like they don't have as many like, I guess, gas pipes and factories and shit. Compared to New Jersey, we have factories everywhere. We have disgusting Meadowlands swamp and factories there.
Don't say that. There's not factories everywhere. We can't play into the stereotypes of New Jersey. The areas of New Jersey that we know are very nice. It just, if you go there and you don't live there, you just drive on the Garden State Parkway and see disgusting stuff everywhere. But if you actually go to the towns, it's tremendous.
Yeah, LA was cool. Warner Bros. I went on the Warner Bros. Studio tour. That was tremendous. Saw all the Batmobile, all the Batman shit. Saw a bunch of sets. Do you know the show All American?
Yes, I watched the first season of it.
Yeah, like so the coach's house, they had that on the set. Like I walked inside of it, like where they filmed it all.
Oh,
it was
really?
Pretty cool. I forgot the coach's name. They were talking. What's his name?
I don't know. Tay Diggs plays him. I don't know what his name is.
Yeah, I saw like all those sets where they were filming it. They were actually like shooting stuff the next day for All American when I wasn't there, but so that was interesting.
Did you see any famous people?
I did not see any famous people.
So that is insane. I feel like you just go to LA and you just see at least somebody's there.
Well, that's just what that's just what everything says, but it's not
like media.
I didn't see any famous people. I mean, I didn't walk down Hollywood Boulevard for that long, but I saw that what was that? I think it was Dave's Hot Chicken or whatever, that big chicken franchise that Drake invested in. That I saw that in LA. It's like Dave's Hot Chicken or something.
I don't know. I never heard.
Oh, I just remember Drake like hyping that place up, and it was in LA.
Great.
I didn't get anything there. In-N-Out Burger had that for the second time in career. I can give another official review on that.
Yeah.
The fries are good. The burger's fine. Like Five Guys is still better than Shake Shack in my opinion. Honestly, if I have a Five Guys next to In-N-Out, I'm going to Five Guys every time probably. The only perk is In-N-Out's so cheap. Like it's $4 for a burger and fries. Like it's cheap. But like I got cheese fries from there, and they literally just drop a slice of cheese on it and melt it, which is kind of weird.
No, I mean that's like their thing to do that. Yeah, I had In-N-Out.
I don't like that.
I had In-N-Out for the second time this year, and I think it was probably better the second time around.
It was better the second time.
I think I enjoyed it more. I think you gave the opposite opinion. The fries are what people think are bad. Like I think
they were kind of good.
The fries are like too congealed. Like they all like come apart in the same like big thing. They're not like very individual.
They really make them like they're officially like on the spot. It's not like frozen fries like a fast food place.
And the burgers, I mean, I think the burgers are fine. It's it's very cheap. It's very like I like it because I don't like very sophisticated food. So if they're just gonna if everything on the menu is just the burger and the fries, like I'm down with that. That's good with me.
Well, I mean, when you go to a burger place, I don't need that. I don't need anything crazy, but I just think like the burger was fine. I just like if I'm just gonna go to Shake Shack or Five Guys if I want a real burger.
Yeah,
a better burger.
I think that's
and I don't have. And McDonald's has better fries. They got the apple pies. They have the. They just. I'm just gonna go to McDonald's over In-N-Out. Like I could just get so much for like $6, and those fries they hit different every time.
Yeah.
Like that never gets old. And the McFlurries, like there's no McFlurries at In-N-Out or anything like that. Like
well, you get a shake. Like they have
yeah,
shake.
But it's not gonna be as good as McDonald's. Come on.
Okay.
In-N-Out, yeah. I mean, it's kind of funny how it's like a '60s like looking place. That's how they all look inside.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. Like
it's kind of cool. It feels like you're in 1960 when you walk in there, but Yeah, LA was pretty cool. Dodger Stadium, definitely one of the better stadiums. I think it's up there, like in terms of food and like quality of the stadium with Yankee Stadium and Citi Field, which makes sense because it's LA. I mean, pretty bad if they didn't have a good stadium. But Dodger Stadium, they had a Shake Shack, they had Mexican places, they had all these chains, and Dodger dogs that were like 12-inch hot dogs. I got like a 12-inch churro. Like the churros, that's the one thing I love about the West Coast now, is you can get churros everywhere and anywhere, and we don't have that on the East Coast. They have the best churros over there. That's not really a dessert that like people just like go to and get in the tri-state area, but like being in San Diego, I had a lot of Mexican food, and their dessert is churros, and churros are great with ice cream.
Hey, that's yeah, I don't disagree.
Yeah, churros, they were good. San Diego, definitely. I would definitely go back to San Diego and LA. San Diego, really like the food. What did you think of everything when you were in San Diego?
Yeah, I thought it was great. It's definitely one of the nicest cities in America. The weather, everything is amazing there. Yeah, what did you like better? Did you like LA better? Because I've never been to LA.
I don't know. That's tough. I don't know what I like more. I'd say they're tied. I want to go back and explore more in LA. I think I did more in San Diego, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
San Diego food, loved the Mexican food. I ate a lot of Mexican food, and I was like a block away from the beach where I was staying, so that was kind of cool. I went in the Pacific Ocean. I can confirm it is warmer, and
yeah, well,
it's better than the Atlantic Ocean.
It's always 65 and hotter, so of course it's warmer.
Yeah. San Diego was definitely cool. I just didn't go to a Padres game, unfortunately. They were out of town. I know you did that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I like Petco. Petco Park is a cool park.
Yeah, I walked by it. You know, I just like the vibes in San Diego, and there was no homeless people there either. So like, and the gas obviously was expensive, but it wasn't that crazy compared to LA. It was a good trip, honestly. I think we should get a group and go to San Diego or LA next time.
I'm for it. It'll be expensive, but
yeah, that'll be very expensive.
We gotta go to Vegas too. We haven't all went to Vegas yet.
Yeah, Vegas is top of the priority list.
Yeah,
that's gonna be absurd. Going to casino and like all those clubs.
Hopefully, Bona will still exist, and we can, that'll be a good episode. Talk about going to Vegas.
Yeah. So now onto some of the real NNN topics. I think we have to talk about our guy, Top G, got canceled.
Top G.
Top G. I don't agree with everything he says, but I think it's kind of dumb how he got canceled from every platform. There's definitely people that say worse things on the internet. Obviously, you could say he's a misogynist, like whatever. He talks bad about women, but
that's the thing that I would say. I mean, the meme about Top G and people talking about him is everybody says, I don't agree with everything he says, but he's so I don't want to go down that road because it's played out and it's boring. I just think when you're looking at the landscape of the internet, okay, the internet folks, you're just gonna ban some guy that says crazy stuff. Like, who cares?
Who cares? What's that gonna do?
Look at the history of the internet and the stuff that's on the internet. Just one like guy on Instagram and YouTube that just goes on podcasts and rants and talks about things in like a comedic way. I feel like you're targeting your energy in the wrong place. Like, the internet is there's so many wild things across the internet. So many people that say the same things as him. That it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to censor him because all those opinions and all those things are still out there on the internet. It's the whole landscape of the internet. It's too big to get rid of all the opinions like that. And talking about censorship, we like to keep it lighthearted here, not to get too serious, but the path down the road of censorship is not necessarily great when you start removing certain things. I mean, Top G is funny, and getting rid of him saying terrible things about women isn't bad, but people have been censored on the internet for saying things that are true and that are real. Like, I know Rogan just interviewed a guy who he sued Twitter because he was banned, and they had to reinstate him legally because he won a lawsuit against them, and they banned him for allegedly promoting hesitancy for the vaccine. And what he said on Twitter was that the vaccine is not going to prevent you from getting COVID, and they banned him for saying that, which obviously many people have gotten the vaccine, have gotten COVID too. We know that It does not prevent you from getting COVID. So he sued Twitter for that, won, and got back on. So, censoring Top G is
Top G.
He says bad things about women that we don't agree with and that we don't like, but you remove it's the fact that the people that run the platforms, they disagree with that opinion, so they get rid of it. They also have disagreed with the opinions that have been proven factually correct, and they've gotten rid of those too. So that's the problem. That's the whole circle of censorship.
Information changes so, especially with the vaccine thing, like it got rolled out a year ago, whatever. Obviously, we're not going to know everything about it when it drops. I mean, it was even rushed. Like they admitted that.
Right, you have to allow people to speculate about it.
Yeah, we're learning stuff on the fly, so I don't think you should really get canceled or whatever for just speaking your mind and trying to get to the bottom of the scientific facts. And it is a scientific fact now that you can still transmit COVID even if you have the vaccine. And that wasn't really that's not what people were promoting in the beginning, but now I think it's a given now that like you can still spread it, and like the vaccine really isn't like a vaccine technically, but definitely helps.
It's more of like a treatment, it's a pre-COVID treatment. Like you get it, and then if you get the virus, you will be safer. That's the purpose of the vaccine.
No, yeah. When I found out about Andrew Tate, aka Top G, like I thought, I mean, I feel like he's kind of a fraud in how he makes his money. I don't think he has as much as
we should talk about.
I don't think he makes as much as he says and all this other crap. Like, obviously, it's the internet, and if you can market yourself in some way and just like show off stuff, you can definitely gain a big following. Hustlers University, I would never join that shit. I think that's so stupid. He's kind of a fraud in some of the things he does, but he does say some funny things and stuff that kind of people do think in the back of their heads, but they're afraid to say.
Yeah, that's the thing. The fraudulent, wealth. It's very strange when you see people that claim to be worth, hundreds of millions or whatever he claims, and they're selling an online course, number one, and also being like a social media influencer. Like, I don't know, if I had $100 million,
why would I sell a course?
Why would I sell a course? Why would I spend my time on the internet all day making content? I probably would not do that. I mean, maybe I do it for fun. Like, I think if I had $100 million, like we could still do this show. Like, I don't care. I need something to do my free time still.
I mean,
like,
Rogan gets $200 million to do his show. Like,
right.
He gets
so
paid.
You can be rich and still, be a social media influencer, but it is strange that, it seems like that's the primary way he makes his money, selling Hustlers University, selling this lifestyle.
It's a scammy lifestyle.
Yeah,
that's why I was like, when I first watched him, I was like, this guy's kind of a fraud, but he does say some funny things.
He's an entertainment and a comedian. It's offensive, but you can't take it seriously. If you take it seriously, the problem is you.
Yeah, if you believe like everything he says, like you're pretty dumb, but it's just for comedy relief. I remember he was on the I saw some clips of him on the Full Send podcast, and he was saying how he would never trust a woman to drive his car. And
he got banned for a lot of clips on Full Send.
Yeah, that was I watched the full like 2.5 hour interview. I think it has like 10 million views now, but it was pretty
podcast, funny. I mean, I'm gonna sound like a hater on like a 50 viewer podcast, but Full Send is an awful show. The people on that show ask the most surface level questions, and they provide no insight.
Oh no, yeah,
it's really
it got really bad. So
it's
I watched
unfortunate.
I watched like the first like 10 with Bob Menery, if you know who that is. He was on it, and he was hilarious. Like he acquired like AB and all these good guests, and he would ask like the most outrageous questions, which actually made it funny. But then like everyone started hating on him, and I think they had to get rid of him because of that. But like he didn't ask surface level questions. Like he would say some crazy shit to the guests, and like it would get a funny response, and like he would keep the conversation like it made it a unique podcast. And
yes, I was gonna say that.
It made it actually unique. Adding Bob, his crazy personality in there, and just like. But now it's pretty boring. I attempted to watch the Elon Musk thing, and that was pretty garbage.
They just
like
ask
the first
him
10
nothing.
minutes.
They just ask him like, "Oh, Elon, like, so you like to party, Elon? Like, what do you do?" Like, that's the questions they're asking him. Like, nobody cares. You have one of the most interesting people in the world, somebody that's trying to innovate on like levels that we've never seen, and you're just asking him like the dumb Like, not even interesting lifestyle questions, just dumb service level questions that anybody can ask or know. Like, that's just a waste of time.
Yeah, it's just like everyone has a podcast, and it pisses me off when like these people are obviously bigger than us because they had a previous following, and they're allowed to just acquire these guests and ask dumb questions. I would ask different questions.
We could ask the same questions that they ask. There's no, like, Rogan is a special type of interviewer. He can have a one-on-one 3-hour conversation and never run out of things to say, and always, I feel like Rogan a lot of time asks the question I would want to ask, like. In that moment, he'll come up with something that gets a very interesting response. Like, anybody can just sit there. We could be full send. We could just sit in front of Elon and ask him, like, so what do you do in the morning, Elon? Like, what time do you get up?
I think about it because Elon Musk, obviously, like, whatever you want to think about him, but like, if we got 3 hours with Elon Musk, I mean, like, I'd definitely find a way to ask better questions. Like, he's the most interesting man in the world. Like, he almost bought Twitter. He runs Tesla. Like, you could ask him so many questions about like how he got here, his career, like what are his plans for Mars, if he's actually going to go to Mars, blah blah blah. Like, I don't know. It's just when you're given that privilege, you need to take it full advantage, I think.
Yeah, and we just sound like haters because they do well. I mean, Top G interview has 10 mil. Like, obviously they're
I watched the full thing. I mean,
their service level works.
I mean, I watched their. I watched some of their pods just for their guests because I want to see Top G content, and Top G was there for 2 hours, and it was kind of a funny conversation. He said that girls should write their body counts on their head in a club. He said it would make society better, and it was just kind of funny how like they were talking about that. Because he was like, I don't want a woman with like a million bodies, which is true. I mean, I think all men kind of agree with that, but it's just funny how that's like public shaming if that actually was a thing.
Yep, the Top G era is over. He lasted one summer, and now that's it.
I had a feeling he was gonna die down somewhere. I didn't know he was gonna cancel, but like
I think the hype for him would have disappeared.
I think in 4 months we wouldn't give a shit about him, but since he got canceled now,
I feel like that kind of made him more powerful. Now it's like the the artist that dies, like they were on top of the game for however long, and then they died, and now their legacy is like, oh, they could have been the greatest, they could have been whatever. Like, if the hype for them just died down naturally over time, I feel like people would care less about Top G. We wouldn't be talking about him getting canceled or deleted. We would just say, oh, that was. I mean, that was funny for 6 months. Now it's over.
It was probably like less than 6 months, honestly. I found about him in like June, and then he just like got canceled 2 weeks ago. So it's not even 3 months basically, but that's definitely an interesting convo. So another stuff on NNN, I saw some World Star. Maybe this is like a week old, maybe, but I saw NJ in our great state of New Jersey. NJ art teacher catches hate from parents over her body. I don't know if you saw this, but. So this says, according to reports, a New Jersey art teacher, whose name has not been revealed, frequently uploaded pictures to her IG. However, many parents were upset at her outfits and took social media to blast the teacher.
Oh, I have seen this. Yeah, I have.
Yeah, one person wrote, "You're in a classroom taking pictures with your ass out. Showing pictures in the class with your butt in the air is very inappropriate." And then she said she defended her outfits, actually. She went on her IG and defended them. She said... She went on to say, I teach babies and there are no haters in the classroom. Thinking of that, I'm a really, really good teacher. I mean, you kind of botched the response. I mean, you just saying I'm a really, really good teacher means you're probably not a good teacher if you're saying that as your defense.
Yeah, you got to show, not tell, I guess, in that situation.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But like, I don't know. Elementary school, I don't know if... Did she get fired? I don't know if she got fired over this or whatever, but she was catching hate. In my opinion, I wouldn't, like, if my son or daughter was in that class, like, whatever, like, that's her personal life. That's the teacher. Like, you just have to, she's her teacher, and she has a free life. She has her own free time. Obviously, Kaminsky, our teacher, he has an IG post on. Obviously, he's not posting, I guess, quote unquote, inappropriate pics, but they still are people. They are obviously teachers, but they could do whatever they want in their free time as long as they're not, like, violating the school code. So
yeah,
I don't see it. I think this is a little overreaction, and also it's elementary school. It's so weird. It's not like the teacher's hitting on kids or something. This is like they're 8-year-olds. They haven't even puberty yet. Like, I don't think they're really looking at the teacher's ass like the whole class. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's I would say boomer parents, but these people are probably like 30. So I don't know why they care so much.
It just everything runs through social media. You could just attack anyone on social media and see what happens.
There's some fans outside. They just walked by.
Some fans.
Yeah. Yeah. L parents let the teacher do what they want.
Yeah, I agree. L parents. That's definitely not. That's definitely woke. If it was dope or woke. Yeah, another thing. This was like a month old, but like so I just had these archived. I think it'll be funny to discuss. McDonald's employee in Brooklyn shot over cold French fries, and I was raging about this in the chat. I was raging about this in the chat.
What a
sad world.
Thing to
a horrible world. Like, come on, like cold French fries and you pull out a gun. Like, really, bro? Just buy another one. It's $2. Why are you bringing a gun into McDonald's of all places? Society's crazy, and social media freaking reports this stuff, and it's just crazy. Like,
society. I mean, it's descended quicker and quicker into madness. We are here on NNN to combat the mainstream media, but if you watch Fox News, if you watch these things, they'll tell you that New York City has crime everywhere. They'll tell you that LA has homeless people everywhere. You went there as a first person account and said that is not the case. So yeah, I mean, these stories are horrible. That guy, he freaking shoots the McDonald's employee. I mean, imagine being that guy. Like, I worked at Dairy Queen.
Yeah, imagine you just getting shot.
Like, I worked in a food service job. Imagine if I just got shot over like slightly melted ice cream. Like, that'd be
that's kind of scary. You really like can't do anything in this world anymore in public. You can't even work your damn minimum wage. You can't even work your damn minimum wage job apparently anymore.
Yeah, we can't have that happening. We gotta, let's get more political. Take the guns away from people that get mad over cold fries.
And it was like a 19-year-old too. It was like a young person too. Like, why do you have a gun, and why are you at McDonald's with it?
Yeah.
I think the guy did survive. I hope he did at least. I read something that he did. So shout out to him.
Yeah, shout out to him for surviving.
Shout out to him for taking a bullet. Because not many people could do that, I guess.
McDonald's employee. Yeah, that's why McDonald's is the best fast food restaurant.
They literally take bullets.
They survive. They're survivors.
Yeah, literally. Just crazy. And the final thing, and I actually saw this on CNN earlier. Coins worth up to $290,000 found under kitchen floorboards. Like, imagine. I don't know. Just imagine finding that much money just under your board one day. Like,
well, I don't think it's that much worth of coins. I think there's probably a rare coin.
Well, it's the rare. Much. It's an auction. Yeah, it's an auction. Yeah. So they were renovating their kitchen a couple years ago or whatever, or recently, and they found all these coins from the 18th century period. So, which is kind of crazy. I mean, all that stuff still is in the ground. We'll never know what happened to D.B. Cooper. I think D.B. Cooper survived. I actually forgot to talk about that. The documentary, I watched the full thing on Netflix with my brother.
This is a left turn.
Yeah, this is a big left turn. Sorry. We moved quickly on NNN. But D.B. Cooper, I don't. Did you ever watch? Obviously, you didn't watch the doc.
No, I don't know anything about it other than what I've heard from him.
Do you know like what he? Do you know like what he did? Do you know the premise of D.B. Cooper?
Yeah, didn't he robbed a bank or something and then hijacked a plane and was never found?
Pretty much, yeah. So yeah. He was on a plane from Seattle to Portland or something, and he had a note where he was like, it was like a normal flight. He showed up and he had a bomb in his briefcase. This is like 1970 something. He handed the flight attendant a note saying like, I have a bomb. Like, you have to get all these people out of here. Hand me $200,000 cash and everyone will be okay. And obviously the flight attendant, this is 1972 or whatever, the flight attendant was like, okay, and then went to the pilot and they got everyone off the plane.
Yeah, I think I'd be like, okay too. I'd be like, oh yeah, sure, buddy. I'll just...
Yeah.
Like, I don't care.
And then so they handed him all $200,000 in cash in a briefcase. And he got parachutes. He made them get 3 parachutes. And then he's like, all right, so you got to fly back to Portland or whatever. So it's just D.B. Cooper and the flight attendant and obviously the pilots flying the plane. And I'm pretty sure he actually did have like some kind of explosive or some bomb in his briefcase. That would never happen now in the airport. Absolutely crazy that was a thing. That you could just bring whatever you want onto a plane. That's so scary to think about. Just bringing knives, you could bring whatever you want, I guess. No security. But he parachuted out and never seen again after that. They've dug up some of the money apparently with the same serial number. Some river in the middle of nowhere in Oregon. But they have not found out if he survived or not. In the doc, they were going over the prime suspects for it. I don't think it was any of the suspects in the doc. This private investigator guy wasted, and I don't know, want to say wasted, but he tried pinning it on this guy like 5 years ago. He believes it was him. Me and my brother watched the doc, and I don't really think it was this guy. His last name's Ragstraw. We don't think it was him. He claims it wasn't him either, obviously, but there's like hundreds of suspects. Like they narrowed it down in the doc, and I don't think it was any of them, honestly. I don't know where DB Cooper went. Me and my brother do actually believe that he survived and changed his identity somewhere. Some myth is that he's seen in Florida.
Dead.
Well, now he's dead because he was like 35, late 30s, probably in the 70s. So he probably is dead now. But me and my brother think it was a Canadian guy. It wasn't even a U.S. citizen. We think it was some Canadian guy that ended up changing his identity somewhere. He knew apparently someone knew how to parachute. They said they like found out some stuff, and there was a theory that he actually worked in the airport. That where the plane took off, so maybe he was an employee, just whatever. He wanted $200,000 cash, and he got away with it. He never got caught. Hundreds of suspects later. It's the 50th anniversary of probably the craziest unsolved case.
Yeah, he might be the GOAT, escaping with only $200K. I mean, kind of.
Well, it's like 1970. It's 1970 something. So how much is that worth today?
I don't know.
It's over $1 probably.
But how? Like, why did the flight attendant even have $200K? Like, where'd they get the cash from?
Oh no. So they landed the plane. This was in the middle of the flight. He's like, "You guys gotta turn around. Like, I have a bomb. Blah 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 blah."
Okay.
So they turned around. They went to a bank, gave him $200K.
Oh, they went to. Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah. They turned around. The FBI, not FBI, just like someone gave him a briefcase with $200K, and he was the only one on the flight. And then he jumps out halfway through with the cash and the parachutes. They didn't really have good DNA testing back then. I think they've had his tie or something. They found his tie on the plane after he left, but it was like messed up, and like they couldn't find conclusive evidence. Like nobody knew who this guy was. He went off the grid literally. Never found again. But there's been so many things in pop culture. There's like bars named after him. Like there's so weird. There's like a convention every year or something in Washington for it.
What? Where all the suspects go? And hang out?
No, not the suspects, but like the people that were actually on the flight like went there and like talked about it. Like so like they actually, so in the doc, it was cool. They actually like interviewed the flight attendant that like got handed the note and like interviewed like the passengers like near him, and it was pretty cool what content they were able to produce. I couldn't even imagine being like a regular person seeing that go down, but like it happened. And that's all for NNN. We had a long episode today.
Yeah, you know what? We're back here. The rust is always real when we come back, but we need that momentum. Hopefully at least once a week. I think Fridays I'm free. I'm good. So we'll do it.
Yeah, sure.
And that was a great NNN. The DB Cooper documentary, I guess I'll watch it. That's the rec.
You should actually watch and get back to me on that.
And we'll talk about it again. That is it for this episode of the Bona Fide Scrubs. Make sure to subscribe, comment, like, all that for the algo.
Matthew Jimenez, you better watch this.
We'll see you next week.
Peace.